Anchor Christine Romans, what are you seeing in the numbers?
Hi there. Well, I see 161,000 net new jobs created in the month. This is another solid month of hiring, the 73rd consecutive month of hiring in this country after that horrible financial crisis in 2008, 2009. The unemployment rate ticked down to 4.9%. Really key here, you guys, wage growth. How many times have we talked about how, sure, jobs are coming back, but the pay raises aren't there and the pay is not there? You can see wage growth at 2.8%. That's getting healthier, and that could be one of those things that signals the Federal Reserve is finally ready to raise interest rates in December at its next meeting. Let me show you the unemployment rate, because 4.9% is a number that is less than half of what we saw at the peak. Again, this is that terrible part of the financial crisis when we had 10% unemployment. You've seen a steady decline in the unemployment rate there, now to below 5%. We still have about the same number of people who are on the sidelines who would like to work but maybe aren't even looking. That number is about the same this month. Here's where we are seeing the hiring, guys. Healthcare. This has been years of healthcare jobs growth. This is a part of the economy that's booming. Business and information services, these tend to be tech jobs, office jobs, management jobs. These are higher paid jobs. And financial services, we saw 14,000 jobs created there. Remember Hurricane Matthew? The Labor Department is saying that might have skewed the numbers a little bit, may have actually held back the numbers a little bit in the end. So we'll look to see next month if maybe there's a little bit of rebound there. I suspect you're going to hear both candidates talking about these numbers. Donald Trump has called numbers like this anemic. He would like to see more. He really focuses on the people who are sidelined out of the economy. Hillary Clinton today, I think you'll hear her in Pittsburgh talking about women, and she'll be talking about how women need better wages, need gender parity for wages. About 2/3 of minimum wage jobs are held by women, so I bet you'll hear her talking about raising the minimum wage today as part of her prescription for getting the jobs market to work for everyone, you guys.
Okay, Christine, thanks so much for bringing us all of that breaking news.
Good for you, Romans. Pure info and perspective. The question now is, how will the campaigns use it? This is going to be a big deal, especially for people voting their pocketbook on Tuesday. CNN political director David Chalian here with the bottom line. What do you see, Brother Chalian?
Well, that's really good news for Hillary Clinton, obviously. But two things to remember here. One, Donald Trump still, in our most recent polling across the battleground states, is winning the issue of the economy. He is seen as better able to handle the economy, and that is the number one issue. So this good report, the way things are going, unemployment ticking down, this is good news for Hillary Clinton. But also remember the other piece of why it's good news for Hillary Clinton. This is Barack Obama's economy, guys. He's at 55% approval, far better than Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. The last poll we took nationally showed that 54% of the country thinks things are going well in the country. That's the highest of the Obama presidency. That included 51% of independents. So this continues to feed into that narrative. And if you're Hillary Clinton and seeking to continue some of those policies, you're going to get folks to rally around that cause.
Okay, so, David, tell us what you see on your map. We love the video game where you pop up different states and show us the path to 270.
One congressional district up in Maine would be his 270th electoral vote if he can win that one congressional district. This is sort of the no margin for error path. But he also has another path. Take a look here. He can go through the Midwest here, the Rust Belt. Look at where Hillary Clinton's campaigning today. Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. She understands Donald Trump is still looking at this path. Here, he doesn't need all the remaining toss-ups. Let's say he hangs on to Utah and Arizona, and he wins Florida and Ohio. But let's give Hillary Clinton North Carolina and Nevada. She's still there at 293. She's won the presidency here. But now, go to this Rust Belt region. If Donald Trump could flip a Michigan and a Wisconsin, that gets him to 270. Pennsylvania. If he could get two of those three, which is a mighty steep climb for him still, two of those three, he's on his way to the presidency.
And do the polls suggest that he can do that Rust Belt, that blue area?
Not really. The most recent poll out of Wisconsin, we showed Hillary Clinton had a 6-point lead there, Allison. Michigan still leaning in Hillary Clinton's direction. Pennsylvania has showed a more narrow margin for Hillary Clinton, about a 4-point lead there right now. You're going to see Donald Trump there a few times, Hillary Clinton a few times. Remember, Pennsylvania doesn't have a lot of early vote. It's almost entirely election day vote. So Pennsylvania and New Hampshire are going to get a ton of candidate attention right now because their voters mostly vote on election day.
And you say mostly because while they don't have early voting, they have the absentees?
Yes.
All right, so that allows it. So at this point, 4 days out, where are you focused, right? Because as we get closer to the day, you start looking at less and less things and more things more intently. So where are you?
I'm really focused on North Carolina and Florida. I think those two states are the ones to watch. I know that doesn't surprise many people. Florida in our poll of polls, dead heat, 45% to 45%. Hillary Clinton, slight edge in our poll of polls in North Carolina. But this is critical. Donald Trump really, I mean, I showed you one path here where it doesn't work this way, but he really needs North Carolina and Florida if he's going to have a clean shot at 270. And I think just watch those two states and see what happens to them on Tuesday night, and you'll know the answer.
Oh, well, sort of, David, except what if she wins North Carolina and he wins Florida, or vice versa? Then is it still over, or do we have to watch the next dominoes fall?
If they split these states, if Hillary Clinton wins North Carolina, as you just said, I think that would pretty significantly block Donald Trump, except for this Rust Belt route. But you just asked me about the polling here. I mean, this is a long shot to give these states red. These really are blue-leaning states right now, Michigan and Wisconsin. So if he doesn't have North Carolina, guys, that is going to be a significant roadblock.
Okay.
You see, yeah.
But what if he does have North Carolina?
Well, you know, then we go back to, look, if he has North Carolina, if he can win Nevada, this is going back to sweeping all the remaining toss-up states. Then he's got to flip New Hampshire, and then he's in the hunt.
See, one of the things that we've been learning to do is you have the straight math, and I get that's why North Carolina and Florida being equal on some level doesn't make sense. Florida has almost twice as many electors. Yeah. But it's about what they're predictive of. So if you win North Carolina, that tends to mean something about how other races are going. So it's not just the math, it's also the metaphor effect of what one state means in relation to others.
Without a doubt, Chris. And in fact, I think if you're in North Carolina, look to a place maybe like Colorado where there are other white college-educated voters that have been with Hillary Clinton in this race, which is a reversal from what we've seen in the past. Maybe something's happening there on Election Day that we weren't anticipating. So you are right. The demographic makeup of these states do matter.
See, David does not have the names of the states on that map. That's how good he is. He's just hitting all sorts of buttons, and he's right. David,
I thought that was Europe when it first popped up.
Well, you have called up Europe. David, thank you very much. So this election has turned into, in some ways, a referendum on the treatment of women and whether or not it's a sexist election or it's a feminist election. So how could Tuesday's result impact women in politics going forward? We talk about that, as well as Melania Trump next.
And voting is underway right now, not just for the election, but the election of the Hero of the Year. Here's a peek at one of CNN's year's top 10 heroes. Okay, her name is Becca Stevens. Remember, you get to vote at CNN.